Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we're going to learn how to set up the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit. After this video, there'll be a link at the end of this video if you want to learn how to play the Pirate Republic African Gambit. So there's quite a bit to set up here, so we're going to go through everything step by step to make sure you guys can get everything on the board as it's meant to be. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pick a mission. So this game can be played in one of three ways. You can play through the campaign. Some branching narratives that means there's some replayability to the campaign, but you're always going to start with the Plat Fleet. This is going to be global mission, and down here it says 1 of 16. This also serves as kind of an introductory mission. It's one of the faster missions and is not as difficult as some of the ones further in the campaign. You can choose to play through the campaign, so you would start on mission 1, or if you played partway through the campaign, bookmarked where you were, you would pick up at the whatever mission you left off at. Or you can choose to play any mission as a one-off. Now, they recommend obviously playing through the campaign first, then going back and replaying missions that you enjoyed. That way, if you ever did want to play the campaign, you're not spoiling anything. Or you can simply play without a global mission, and in multiplayer or solo, you would play to try and get to either 60 points, which is way over here in the corner, or 120 points, which is making a full lap around the board. Now, these points are referred to as swagger. That's the kind of victory points in the game. That's going to determine the level your pirate is at as you reach certain benchmarks of swagger. But then it's also going to trigger if you're just playing a standard game without a global mission attached to it. That's going to be your end game trigger. Now that we've established our mission that we're going to play for, or the type of game we're going to play, you also want to take all of the tidings cards, go ahead and shuffle those up and place those on a big stack right here above the mission card. These are multi-use cards. We'll explain how these work during the how to play video, but we're also going to use them in setup. The next thing we're going to want to do is come up here to the enemies of the Pirate Republic area, and you're going to have to establish your enemy stacks. There is this tray that comes with the game. This tray is actually designed to overlay like that. If you feel like you might bump your stacks and they get knocked over, me personally, I like to just have them out. It makes it easier to see past them and to place stuff into the stacks during the game, but that's your preference. What you're going to want to do is take all of your treasure fleet, all of your slave ships, and all of your pirate hunters. These, you can see, have the unique backs on them. You're going to take all of your treasure fleet, you're going to mix them up and place them in a stack right there. Same thing with the slave ships. And the pirate ship, or pirate hunter ships, you're actually going to divide these up into 2 equal stacks, should be 4 each, and place them on their 2 stacks, like so. The last thing you're going to want to do is take all of your navy ships. Now, these are going to be ships that have the blue background, and the ones you're looking for are going to have the flag of the nation that they are the navy for, and not a proper name. Anytime you would see one that has a proper name, like for example, this guy here, for example, that one there, Charles Olhay, or whatever his name is, Shalaner Ogle or whatever, those are going to be kept off to the side. We'll talk about those here in a second. But you're going to want to take 8 of these in each stack, so 16 total. Shuffle them up and place them face down. Now, they have the C look about them. They don't have the Navy listed on the back, and we'll tell you why here in a second, but you'll create, and that's how your enemy stack is going to look. The merchant icon and the land icon are left blank. We'll explain how that enemy stack works during the how to play video, but essentially the more you start taking out things like merchant ships or ports and forts along the coast, or treasure fleets or slaver ships, it's going to trigger you pulling the ships off of the column on the right and adding them to the board. So you take out a slave ship, the Navy's going to come after you. You take out a treasure fleet, pirate hunters are going to come after you. So that's how that works. The next thing you're going to want to do is populate all of your main forts. So these are going to be all of the forts that have the flags. So you'll see the little fort symbol here, but then they have a flag attached to them. A regular fort does not have the flag. So we're going to find all of the spots on the map with this dashed outline here, and we're going to find the matching flag. And there's actually two, this symbol here that I'm not sure what country that is, and then the British symbol here have two. Those can just be randomized. So here's one at the Cape Coast Castle, and then where was the other one? Port Royal right here. And then this guy here is Sao Tome. I may be butchering these names, I apologize. And then we have this one up here. The rest of these, there's only one, so they're always going to go into the same spot. These are elite forts, so to take them out as pirates, you're definitely going to have built up your crew and yourself. And so there we go. Those are always going to be on the board just like that, except for the two might be mixed up. Now, all of the remaining tokens are going to go into a supply. If you have one of the deluxe bags, that is a great way to utilize the bag. So you can see that all of these land tokens have the land symbol on the back, but we have simple ports here with just the houses, and then we have the forts here with just the concrete fort there, but no flag. And it's just a mixture of these. You're going to take the rest of them, all the rest, and put them either into some stacks off to the side or put them into a bag and mix them up. You're also going to take all of the remaining ship tokens, which is going to be a mixture of remaining Navy ships like this. You're going to find some all of the pirate ships, all of the merchant ships. They're all going to go into a supply into the other bag. All right. So this bag then is full of everything that we're going to populate the board with and is going to be used to populate the board throughout the game. The only ones that do not go into the bag are a set of Angry Sea tokens. Those are used in a specific global missions. The NPC tokens, which are all ones that are pirate or navy, things like that, but they have proper names on the bottom of them. So here you can see it's a mixture of navy and pirates. These again are going to come out during specific missions. And then the last token here, which is unique, is the Oceania token. Again, these all go with specific global missions and are not needed unless called upon. So you can stick them back in the box unless the global mission calls for it. All right. At this point, we have populated the forts. We now need to populate the seas with some ships to begin the game with. So what you're going to do now is take the Tidings Deck, and you're going to flip over one card at a time. And the only thing you're worried about on the Tidings card is the location here. So Tidings cards are multi-use cards. They have a country flag here at the top. That's going to mean something during the game. They have an event that takes place at the beginning of the round when you flip these over. They have a location randomizer here. That's what we're utilizing. And then they have some combat modifiers down here. Could be on the left side or the right side. All of this will be covered in the how to play video. For right now, all we're looking for is the location. At this point, we're going to take 22 tokens. Now, what I like to do is actually pull out 22 tokens, place them face down, mix them up, and then start placing them out. That way I'm not having to count as I place them. I'll just look at my stack. Once the stack is gone, then we'll be good. All right, so I have my little stack of 22 tokens here, and that way I know I'm getting them all out on the board. There's lots of locations out here on the board, but when you place one, so let's find Anoban here. It's actually over here. You can see there is a little picture, so we're looking for the kind of torn edge of the map here. You're going to always place these face down. You're also going to then place them in each adjacent territory. So I'll place one here. All right, I'll place one here, I'll place one here, and I'll place one here. So this is going to go quicker than you think. All right, once we've placed in all the adjacent territories, we'll flip over another one. Here we're looking for Caracas, and I actually know that I am covering up Caracas. So we'll place one here, we'll place one here. San Juan is connected, and Aruba is connected. All right, let's flip over another card. We are looking for the Princes, which is, you can see this, how it's shaded differently. That's going to be up here in the West Africa region as well. So you don't double up during setup. There can be during the game 2 ship tokens per area, and then any amount of, you know, little pirate tokens. But in this case, we'll just go here, and we'll be done. Up next, we have Santo Anteo. That's in the darker blue here. We know that that's up here. Boom. This is not adjacent. See, there's no passageway there. So we're just going to go to these 2 locations and be done. We'll flip over again, and here we have Guadalupe. Guadalupe is right here. All right. And again, this is not adjacent. These 2 locations are not adjacent. They don't share a border with the arrows. So Guadalupe, Dominica already has one, St. Croix, and that looks good. And now we'll go to St. Augustine's, which is over here by Florida. So boom, boom, and you don't place into Nassau. Nassau is kind of, at least at the beginning of the game, going to be, and St. Augustine does stretch over here, so we'll put into the, you know, Gulf of Mexico there. And I think I got, no, there we go. That one is going to go there. And then last but not least, we have 1 token left. We have Martinique. So Martinique is over here. No, that's Maracaibo. Martinique is, oh, right here. I'm covering it up. So now, in this instance, we have 2 more spots that we could put a token. In order to finish setup, we do pull out 2 more random tokens and go ahead and place those down. So we'll go there and there. So we technically have 24 on the board, but that's okay. As pirates, we want to see those tokens on the board because that's how we're going to earn, you know, treasure and infamy and swagger and things like that. Once you're done setting up, you're going to go ahead and take the Tidings cards and shuffle them back into the Tidings deck. Next up, we want to set up our Legends track, which is over here in the lower right corner of the board. This is going to tell you as you increase in level who you have initiative for, and also tells you bonuses like gaining crew cards, gaining Captain's Den cards, increasing your hand size, gaining elite cards, things like that. Each level beyond level 1 has an additional bonus that can be randomized during setup. And there are more tokens than this in the box. They recommend using this specific setup for your first game, so that's how we have it set up here. But just know that these tokens do come off, can be mixed up and placed down randomly at the start of each game, which will change things up a little bit. You won't be getting the same exact bonuses every time as you increase the level of your pirate. The last thing we're going to do on the board here is take a look at the setup for our global mission. So we'll flip this card over and we can see there is some setup and rules section here. And it's going to tell us to take a treasure ship here. So here's our treasure ship. And this treasure ship has actually been capsized. It's run aground. And it's dropped all of its treasure, which in this scenario are represented by these X objective tokens. And we're going to place a stack. It tells us to place them on the X here in the Andros region. So this ship is just to represent where the treasure is. And these treasure tokens, this tells us 2 per player. I'm setting up for a solo game, are stacked here. The objective for the first mission is to pick up these treasure tokens and get them either to Caracas, or you can take the short trip to Nassau. You're going to get more benefit by getting them to Caracas here. First person to do that and complete a private mission is going to be victorious if you're playing the campaign. That's going to do it for the board setup. We've got a little bit more supply in our personal board that we need to set up, and then we're going to be ready to play. All right, the first thing you're going to want to do is set up kind of your general supply. You're going to want to have a general supply of reputation tokens here, bloodshed tokens, and black cubes, at least 10 per player. And then also your ships. So I have my slave ships here, my treasure ships, and my pirate hunter ships just ready to be deployed onto the board. You're also going to want to set out stacks of treasure cards. These are going to be shuffled up and placed face down along with your personal mission stack. And then you have 2 stacks of cards that are going to be added to your deck. This is this game does have a deck building mechanic, so you have 2 decks that add to your hand, and that's going to be crew and elite pirate cards. You're going to shuffle these up separately and then deal out 3 into a display. So these are going to be ones that you can obtain. There's actually no purchasing. You have to earn them through various acts of pirate stuff. So you've created your display here. You're also going to, I'm going to set these off to the side, set up a Captain's Den deck. So you're going to take, there's plenty of extra Captain's pirate decks that are unique to each character. So this is Calico Jack's deck. You can see that each of the cards here of his starting deck have his symbol in them. You're going to take one of their decks and just set it off to the side right now. You can shuffle it up, and people are going to be able to earn extra cards from here. Your starting cards are actually not super weak. They're not bad. And so that's a type of card you can earn. You'll set that off to the side. If you are playing solo, this is the only additional setup needed for solo, is to take a then second or third pirate deck that you're not using. I can't remember whose deck this is because I pulled off the flag card, but you're just going to set that off to the side, and the dummy player is basically just a timer. They're also always going to go first, so you can take the first player marker, this is what I do, and stick it on top so you don't get that deck mixed up with your personal deck here. As far as your personal board is concerned, you're going to want to choose a pirate. In this case, I'm playing as Blackbeard. You're going to take Blackbeard's personal deck. So again, all of the cards in their starting deck match their flag symbol. You're going to take the pirate ship token that has the matching flag symbol. If this is the first time you're playing the game, you will have to have applied these stickers yourself to the little pirate ships. All right, you'll take your flag card and just place it here. That's just to remind you who you are or what symbols you're looking for. And you'll take your starting deck, you'll shuffle it up, and you'll set it somewhere, and that's going to be your draw pile. Then you also should have a set of pirate tokens. If you have the deluxe version of the game, you're going to have these nice wooden ones, these wooden circles, as well as the like wooden reputation markers, or the standard version of the game just has cardboard punch-outs that will fit in all these. You're going to put a marker in each of the 0 spots of the captain stats, so your ship, crew, and command spots. These will increase over time, earning you various things. And movement is always going to start here in this darker area in the 3 spot. This area down here is where you're going to be placing these black cubes when you complete these accomplishments. That'll also help you advance along your captain stats here, but for right now you don't have anything down here. You also have 5 extra of these tokens here. These are going to be placed on the board to establish pirate havens, or if you sacked forts and land sites, things like that, to say that you control that territory. You're also going to start with 1 single reputation to begin the game. Last but not least is the Tidings die needs to be somewhere. Everybody is going to be rolling this die at the beginning of their turn, each turn. So it's going to be rolled a lot. Make sure you don't lose track of this. The last thing we need to do to set up our player boards are to choose our personal mission. You'll be dealt 2 of these at the beginning of the game. You'll review them secretly, and you'll choose one, shuffling the other one back into the personal mission deck. These are important because you only need to have completed 1 to meet the criteria for completing the game once you reach the objective milestone. But also any personal missions that you are not able to complete at the end of the game will be negative swagger counted against you instead of the positive swagger that's in the reward section. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your personal mission. Last but not least, you're going to take your pirate ship and you're going to place it either in Nassau. Nassau is always going to be passive to pirates, but it also can't be controlled. So when I say a neutral pirate site, you're going to look for any of these areas with the red flag, the red skull and crossbones flag. So there's lots of them throughout the area. These represent small islands that are pirate controlled or are friendly to pirates. So you could start here in Exuma. They recommend starting in Nassau for your first game, but you would go in player order starting with the first player and everybody would choose where they want to start. In a multiplayer game, you probably would want to kind of spread yourselves out, and that way you're not all going after the same ships. And then the last thing the first player, and only the first player, is going to do is they're going to reveal the ship tokens of each one that's adjacent to them. So if I'm starting on Nassau here, I would flip over these and you can see I've got a pirate, 2 Navy vessels, and a merchant ship here. And now we are ready to start the game. So if you want to check out the link that's going to be happening at the end of this video, that'll take you right to my how to play video for the Pirate Republic Africa Gambit. If you have any questions on setup, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.